I fully expected Shadow of the Erdtree to be packed to the brim with cool weapons and armor, and so far it definitely has not disappointed. After progressing a few hours into the Shadowlands and traversing a somewhat convoluted path, we can find some of the coolest armor in Shadow of the Erdtree. This armor set has a pretty compelling stat buff that could prove to be very useful to a lot of different builds. The path to pick up the armor starts at the Recluse's River downstream Site of Grace. For a detailed guide on how to access this Site of Grace, feel free to reference my previous video on obtaining the Moldmonger's Bell Bearing, where I do a detailed breakdown on just how to get here. So starting from the Grace site, go ahead and hop on Torrent, scale down the gravestones along the cliffside, and jump down to the waterfall basin below. Follow the stream upward and look to your right. Keep following this path for a short while until you reach an opening. Here you will see one of the Nameless Mausoleums scattered throughout the Shadowlands. Go ahead and make your way to the doorway and enter the boss gate. This is where we come to face Rakshasa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. A pretty punishing mini-boss wielding a bloodied variant of a new DLC weapon class, the Great Katana. Overall, the fight is pretty easy if you keep up the pressure and stagger her as much as possible. Once killed, you will receive her armor along with her Great Katana. Interesting side note, but the name Rakshasa may actually be a nod or reference to Hindu mythology, where the name refers to warriors that fought alongside both good and evil. This name was also sometimes used to describe exaggerated supernatural depictions of demonized forest dwellers who were outside the caste society. This depiction seems to match the Rakshasa we meet pretty well, I think. So the Great Katana we get from Rakshasa looks pretty cool with its bloodied blade design, and it also has a pretty interesting moveset. But the armor is the standout here because it has some pretty special characteristics. So if we pull up the item description, we can see that the armor increases damage dealt to foes, but also apparently greatly increases our damage taken by the wearer. Any armor or item that provides a flat damage boost is always interesting to me, so I wanted to do some slight digging to see just how much the damage boost is and how much it's sacrificed in way of defense. So for comparison purposes, I picked an armor that I thought matched as closely as possible to the weight and overall stats of the Rakshasa set, which led me to Malekith's set. The Malekith set does end up being a pound lighter in the torso armor, but is otherwise the identical weight in each armor piece relative to the Rakshasa set. So starting off with Malekith's set, we can see my equipment load is at 51.4 out of 108.1, and all damage negation values are hovering around the low 50s, and my attack power is right at 1252. When we move over to the full Rakshasa set, we see our equipment load is nearly the same, but our damage negation dips quite a bit to the high 40s, with only slash and pierce negation even touching 50. On the plus side though, we do get an attack power of 1355. So if we do some quick math here, it looks like we get roughly an 8% increase in attack power if we go from that 1252 with the Malekith set to the 1355 with the Rakshasa set. We also get effectively an 8% decrease in defense if we focus solely on physical resistance, since we can see we go from the 53.7 with the Malekith set to the 49.6 in the Rakshasa set. It's probably worth noting here too that we do get a slight boost in poise with the Rakshasa set compared to the Malekith set, and my stats are a little wonky because obviously I'm in the DLC area, so I am boosted with the Scatter Tree fragments. Although I don't think that has an impact on the percentage increases that we're seeing here. Overall, these changes are pretty slim and nothing to get too overly excited about. However, if you're a min-maxer or just someone whose physical defense doesn't really matter very much since your dodging skills are S tier, then this armor may be the right fit for you. It's also worth noting that each individual armor piece provides a 2% boost to damage, which gets us with the 4 pieces to the aggregate 8% boost to damage. So rocking just the helmet or torso or something could be a cool option just to get that slight damage boost with a pretty much unnoticeable effect on defense at that point. As for me, I'll probably just be running this armor for fun from time to time, as honestly I'm still addicted to wearing the Knights Cavalry set from the base game. Definitely go grab this armor though if you get a chance. I definitely think it's worth it. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Be careful out there. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.